Alex Bunin with Stateside Press. I'm with Adrian Yanez, who returns to action June 18th at UFC Austin. Adrian, how are you?
Man, I am doing great. Loving living life, man. This is so excited, man. Couple weeks away from putting hands on the guy, so yeah, I'm super excited.
Man, I'm excited to be talking with you. Firstly, how's dad life?
Dad life, man, it's amazing. Oh man, like I get to take him to daycare every morning. So like just sitting back, waking up and just seeing him just like smile and everything like that already brightens up my day, makes training so much more easier to go through in the morning. Cause like before I'd be like, fuck, I'm sore as shit. Like, holy shit, man. What the fuck? Like, all right, I guess I'll go. But as soon as I pick him up, I get him ready for the day. I get him ready to go. And then like driving them there, like it's an amazing feeling just being able to look back in the rearview mirror because we have that little that mirror where you get to see him in the car seat. So just seeing him just sitting there smile and all that, like yeah, it makes the day like it makes me start off on the right foot every single day, and it makes it so much easier to just do things. Like I wouldn't have to like there's a couple times in the day where I just be like, man, fuck, I don't want to do this shit. But it's just like as soon as I see him and I take him to school, like take him to daycare, like I'm like, yeah, no, it gives that extra motivation. It just makes the day just so much easier.
Awesome. That's awesome to hear, man. I'm super happy for you. Congratulations on being a dad, man.
Oh yeah, thank you.
Dude, so you're 18 days out. How are you feeling?
I'm feeling great, man. I'm feeling really, really great. I'm super excited. That's the biggest thing too. Is like I just been excited. I've been waiting. I've been asking for a fight since February, man. So like the fact that like I'm so close to a fight, I'm just like, yeah. I think the only part that I'm gonna hate is fight week because we have to cut. Man, I kind of want to be like, hey, you just want to fight this fight at 155 or something, but man, no, I'm super excited just to go in there, step in the cage. And then on top of that, being able to fight in Austin, Texas, like in my home state, and in front of a crowd. I'm a fighter like that. My style goes perfect in front of a crowd, and now is the first time I get the crowd. So to me, I'm super excited. I'm super ready. Like I'm super pumped because just the way I fight, I think, man, is it. I'm gonna get a 50K bonus anyways.
Yeah, man. We'll get to that in a little bit, but with you saying that, like, there's been two fighters where I'm like, I want to see them fight in front of a crowd already. It was you and Brandon Royval, and Brandon Royval did it in Arizona. You're doing it in fucking Texas, and it just, man.
Yeah, man. I'm like super excited because like here's the thing is that you put my debut in front of a crowd, big roar, walk off head kick, big roar. The Gustavo fight, the first two rounds, I outclassed him and everything, but that third, like the walk off, like two walk offs in the UFC, I think that's pretty dope. But like, I get the walk off knockout, and then that Randy Costa fight, that fight in front of a crowd, you put that like, no, there's like, yeah, like it's gonna go ape shit, and then put me and Davey Grant in front of a crowd, that crowd would have went ape shit. And the fact that I'm able to do it now my fourth after my fourth fight in the UFC, going on to my fifth, like yeah, like it just, I don't know, I felt like it's just building up to that moment, and now like it's just like yeah, like I'm super excited, man, because I'm just like yeah, the wait is almost over. Y'all are about to get a Yanez fight inside of a inside of a stadium, I guess. Stadium, I think. Yeah. So, I think that'd be dope. It's gonna be dope.
Yeah, dude.
Hearing the crowd after I knock out Tony Kelley, just gonna be amazing.
No more Apex Giannis.
Yeah, no, you know what? But I do want to go back to the Apex to main event it, so it comes full circle. I got my start there. It got my main card started there, and then now being able to headline it, I think that would just make it come full circle, and I think that would be dope.
Absolutely. I'm all for it. I'm all for it. Before we get to your fight, I haven't spoken to you since fight night of David Grant, man. And you told me that you were going to take some time off, take some time away from the sport, deal with your emotions, finally be able to mourn your coach. First of all, I wanted to know just did you enjoy your break, man? And did you deal with everything that you needed to deal with? And because I know that mental health is an important aspect to you.
Yeah, no, 100%. And I would say yes and no. Yes and no, because like immediately right after that Davey fight, a couple weeks later, my son was born. So there was just a lot of stuff kind of just piling onto me at once. But uh it and also kind of just even just with that, like having my son, there's like a couple nights where I was having trouble putting him to sleep, and I would just think like, man, who can I call right now? Like who can I call? So a lot of times, like I was trying to get through it and like trying to mourn and everything, but like it was really hard. It was kind of really hard because I kind of was just like, oh, I'm in dad mode already. So like it was just like a couple weeks of me like being able to try to deal with it and everything, But I will say like me taking that time off did do like a lot of great things for myself, because like now I get to see what I need to work on, what I need to do, and like kind of like it's also kind of just like looking at my son, looking at my son and just seeing is like, what do I need to change in myself, what do I need to do better for myself. And the biggest thing has been mental health, like on that end, because like I don't want my son to see the stuff that like me bottling everything up, me not dealing with everything. So like it kind of did make me have to uh address it. And I have been addressing it, and like it is one of those things that I'll never finish mourning like my father or my coach saw. It's never gonna stop. It's never gonna be easy, but it will be easier to deal with, if that makes sense. Like it's like losing them 100%. It's always gonna like be in the like fuck, like that sucks. But being able to like talk about it and everything, because the more that I've actually talked about it has actually helped me out so much more. And I think that's the biggest thing that like whenever I look at my son, just being able to talk about things and like uh give that example, because towards the end of my dad's life, that's what my dad was doing, because my dad was also like, I was showing like signs of like being my dad, like bottle everything up, and then until it was time just to explode, by the end of my dad's life, my dad was actually showing me like, hey, like I'm gonna give you examples of what you need to be doing. Sat me in the therapist room with them, and that kind of helped me, and that helped me like this last year after my coach, like after that Davy Grant fight, I was rethinking the stuff of why, what goes on and everything, and that helped me out, like just seeing the stuff that was shown before, like they gave, like both my dad and my coach both gave me life lessons, and I'm still able to learn from them today, and that actually helps me out, because I'll catch myself in those same conversations with myself that I had with Coach Saul or my dad. And it's cool because I get to see, now I'm seeing like the actual examples come to life. And I'll be like, I have the same conversations, like, man, like training, just with training, I'd be like thinking of my coach, I'm like, man, that's when my coach would get so pissed off. Like, oh, now that I kind of look over some of the fighters and just being over looking at him coaching a lot of these guys, like just seeing it, like, man, now I know why he would get so pissed off. Like, man, dude, like these guys are fucking infuriating. Like a lot of these guys, man, fuck. But 100%, it's helped me out. Like, and like it again, never gonna stop mourning them, because they were such a big part of my life, man. I met my coach whenever I was 18 years old, whenever I was becoming a man. And then also my dad, like uh my dad being my dad, he set a great example for me. And so like it's always going to be hard. But yeah, no, just living through their lessons is like the biggest thing for me. And it's been helping me out so much along the way.
Hmm. Is it tough not having your two father figures, your coach and your dad, not see your kid?
Oh, 100%, like 100%. Like I remember I would tell my brother, because I would tell my brothers like, I would be super jealous of you, because like my dad got to hold his daughter. I'd get so like, fuck, like, man, like he would be happy. Like he always wanted a grandson. He got a granddaughter. Now he has a grandson, man. It's like, fuck, not being able to hold him. Like, yeah, like I told my brother, I'm super jealous of you, bro. And then I remember telling my coach, I still remember telling my coach that I was like, I showed him the ultrasound picture, and it was funny because I was right after training. I was like, kind of like he was like, "You all right?" And I'm like, yeah, like I'm walking around pacing, and I was like, fuck. I was like, "Hey coach, can I show you something right quick?" He's like, yeah. He was so excited. He's like, "Yeah," thinking it was like another shirt idea or something like that. It's like, "You got like, dude, yeah, I can't wait to see the shirt idea." And I showed him, and he looked. I remember him looking at the phone. He'd be like, he already knew what it was. Looked, and he was like, "Oh, like shit, like congratulations," and kind of just walked off. And he was like, I like, he's like, "Oh shit," like I was like, "Oh, like that wasn't the reaction I was expecting." And then next thing you know, like, uh, yeah, he was like, it finally settled in with him, and he called me. He's like, "Bro, like, you're gonna be such a great dad." Like, dude, like it's now like it was now just hitting him because he like it took him for a loop and I was like, he was like just genuinely super happy for me. So that made me feel so like so happy because like I was like, "Oh shit," like the initial reaction was just like, "Oh shit, congratulations," and shook my hand. And then after that, like after he was like, "Man, dude," like he was just like, oh, he was so excited, so happy. He would ask me about like he every step of the way. I'll be like, "Yeah, coach, I got an appointment. We got an appointment today, so we're gonna go see the baby and see like get an ultrasound stuff." And uh, you know, and he had to miss the gender reveal because that's around, I guess, around the time that he had caught COVID. So like the gender reveal was literally legitimately a week before the Randy fight. And so yeah, so everything kind of happened like boom, boom, boom. So yeah, so pretty much he wasn't feeling it. UFC sent over COVID test. That's whenever he found out he had COVID. And that's how everything kind of just progressed as after that. But yeah, it does suck because like those are the people who, like I tell you, like I would want to call. Like I would want to call. Like there's been plenty of times where I wanted to call my dad just to be like, "Hey, like what did you do?" Like, "Hey, what did you do?" I'm losing my shit right now. I don't like, I know we're like me and my brother were little shits, but hey, what would you like, what are you doing, what did you do in this situation? I need just someone to talk me through this. And then same thing with my coach. He had his son, and there's like pretty much I wanted to be like I wanted to call my coach, be like, "Hey, what did you do? Like, what are you doing? Like, what did you do to get through this?" So to me, it's like it really, really sucks. It as much more as I talk about it, like it makes it easier to go through. But like because I know, like, because whenever my coach was in the hospital, I would send him like a picture of like send him a picture of like a onesie that I thought he would think would be badass and shit. So like, "Yeah, coach, here." And it was cool. It was real cool. But like just to be able to have that little moment with him was really nice. But then being able to hold him, I think that would have been like the cherry on top on everything.
Mm, man. But I mean, he's gonna grow up in like your legacy, right? And you already know that wherever your dad and coach are, man, they're watching you.
Yeah, and that's the biggest saving grace for me is being able to, because growing up, my dad and my coach, they both like would tell me stories. They both would tell me stories, and like those stories still stick with me today, and I still like learn from a lot of them. Like it's not just life lessons, but it's also stories that they would give me all the time. Like man, like I now start listening, like thinking back on the stories and like, "Oh no, that's actually a life lesson." So the fact that I'm be able to do that for my son and tell him the stories about Coach Saul, telling stories about his grandpa and all that stuff. So I think that would be really, really cool. And honestly, like I'm so happy that I was able to have pictures of like my dad and my coach, just being able to be there and just like being able to show him like the stuff that actually happened and actually was there. So I think it's pretty cool, especially like now in the day and age that we're uh like it's not hard to get a picture. It's not hard to get a picture. It's not hard to take pictures and anything like that. Like I think that's what makes it a little bit easier, a little bit better to be like, "Hey, this," like instead of like back in the old days where they pulled up an old portrait, and just being like, "Hey, like this is your grandparent." Now it's kind of easier to be like, "Hey, this is your grandparent, but he was like doing something stupid." Just being able to do little things like that, and like being able to describe in detail like what happened, like in that picture, like the memories that came with that picture. And like I was actually talking to one of my sponsor agent, Jacob Parga. Like he was like, take pictures. I was like, yeah, no, I've been taking pictures. Like you, because the more pictures you take, the easier it is for you to recall that memory, and it be easier to see, because you forget shit. You forget so much shit. I forget, like there's been a couple times where like I forget like a certain picture will bring back a lot of memories, and I'd be like, that's when Coach Saul did that stupid shit. And that was like, yeah, that's whenever my dad, that's whenever my dad did some stupid shit. And there's also sometimes like I know the memory behind that photo, and I just remember like, oh damn, he was super pissed off that day. Yeah, so it's cool, man. Like I love it.
Awesome. I did also want to bring up your guy Cameron Smotherman, fights this Sunday. I, like everyone else who watched his last fight, believe he got fucking robbed. How disappointing was that?
It was absolutely super disappointing, man. Like I don't know how he loses that fight. Like here's the thing, is that he did the most amount of damage. He rocked that guy legitimately. The one judge that scored it 30-27 for the other guy is a fucking idiot. I'm so sorry. I'm sorry for cussing, but like that changed. Like I just remember just hearing 30-27 and just being scored for the other guy. Like legitimately, he walked towards me after that round. Like not Smotherman. Cameron was already walking towards me, but like Shane Torres started walking towards me at the end of that round. He was hurt. I don't know how you give him that round. Like he was walking up to me. I was like, your corner's over there, bud. And I remember looked at Cameron. I was like, oh, he's hurt, bro. He's hurt. That third round, I give it to that guy. But I thought he was done. I thought there was like a lot of like, I thought he was done. But he came out and just like kind of out grappled Cameron for a good chunk of it. And that guy was like, he's a legit, really good black belt. But I still don't think he won that fight. Cameron, and here's the thing too, is that, man, those here's like whenever we start talking about all the judging just in general, like in the state of Texas, everybody looks at like the stuff for like the UFC. Everybody's like, man, this guy, like he gets screwed out of the decision. I'm like, yeah, well, he's still in the UFC. He's still in the UFC, and the UFC does a really good job of recognizing, like, I know he got screwed out that decision, but it kind of like everybody sees it really heavy at the top, but the stuff that happens regionally, a lot of these guys are getting screwed, man. A lot of these guys are getting screwed like out their mind, man. And it pisses me off because like there's a scoring criteria. Like the scoring criteria, there's actually a judging criteria set. And a lot of them don't even follow that judging criteria. It's all based off what they think wins a fight, instead of being like, okay, well, here's option A, here's option B, here's option C. If A is completely nullified, you go to B. If B is completely nullified, you go to C. And then after that, it's like if they're both completely nullified, it's a draw. Like that's a 10-10 round. So like 100%, like these judges aren't like, of course they've been in the like, I'm about to be talking a lot of shit about these guys because, man, like they've been judging for so long, and they have legitimately the criteria on how to score the fight, but they do not score it based off of that. They just be like, oh, well, man, that guy had like this much control. It's like, yeah, but if he had that control on the fence, he did no damage with it. He didn't really change the position. And a lot of times a takedown isn't really counted for a lot. It's the change of position. And then on top of that, the damage. If he gets on top, he wrestles, he does damage. That's whenever they give him a little bit more, like, goes to criteria A, where is damage. And then also too, whatever's the fight ending sequence, like if he doesn't get the finish, whoever was closer to a fight ending sequence, that's who gets the nod in the round. And at that point, in those first two rounds, the only person that was giving any of the fight ending sequence was Cameron. He hurt the guy. He hurt him in both rounds. He like had the guy like literally coming to me after that first round, after that first round, almost being knocked out. So like, and that makes Cameron's road to the UFC a little bit longer, and that like it screws him over in that sense, and it just kind of just ends up being like a whole little thing, because like he's like, oh, now he has 3 losses, he has 4 wins. He would have been 5-2, which is a good respectable record. He could have got at least 2 or 3 more fights and knocks let's just say he knocks a couple guys out. He knocks this next guy out, and then he would fight. Let's just say in July, August, knocks that guy out, then hey, he can probably be on the list of being a short notice fight, like because he trains all the time. It would be perfect for him. But now, since he took that extra loss, he's at 4-3. Now he's gonna have to make it up and get another 3 wins by spectacular to spectacular. Like he has to knock all these guys out, and that puts him at 7-3. But even then, the 7-3 doesn't look as good as 7-2 or 8-2. So it's like it makes it a little bit. It makes it a little bit more like fucked up for him just to even like get to that position, because now he has to, for every loss, I feel like you have to get 5 wins, and that's how it feels like a lot of the times. So it really really sucks, and I really hope that the actual judging gets fixed, because they do like again, these judges have a criteria that they need a score on, and it's literally in the rule book, like in their judging rule book, that they have a list of what they can go down, and they don't even do that. Like they don't even judge off of that shit anymore, and it's like annoying. I'm just like, bro, like if you have it, you're not using it. Like everybody's like, man, MMA is so hard to judge. Well, no, they have a criteria where you can do it, where you can judge, and that's how you win. That's how the fight is won. And like, I don't know, these guys are, because I want to single out a lot of these judges because I know who they are. Like I know exactly who they are. I see them like almost every other Fury event, and I'm just like, if I see that guy judging, I'm just like, oh man, he gotta fucking finish this fight. Like, you know, and they like, yeah. So just imagine the amount of wrong decisions they get in the UFC. Multiply that by 10 on the regional circuit. Like a lot of these guys are getting fucked.
They are, and everyone points to referees being shitty, and they take the brunt, but like these judges are also affecting your guys' careers, because not only your pay's docked, you could lose your fucking career, you could get cut
Oh
from the
yeah.
UFC, you could get, not like for Cameron, now he has to fight 3-4 more times before he even get to look by the UFC. So it's like, and then
It
it's just
Yeah, so like even just on the ref's decision, there's a lot of shitty calls that a ref has made, but not nearly in comparison to what these judges do. Like it's there's not even a comparison. There would probably be like, if you put it in percentage wise, I'd probably say that it's probably 10% to the judges 90%, man, because like the judges will get it fucked up all the time. Like there's like, yeah, I feel like a lot of these guys, like, man, like even just like in Vegas or California, there's a lot of fucked up things that the judges will do. But since I'm in Texas, I'm just around it so much that like I see it on like a weekly basis whenever they fight in Fury. So I'm just like, man, something has to change. Something has to get done, man.
I mean, they're one of the worst decisions in UFC history was the Jonathan Martinez versus Andre Ewell fight, happened in Texas. The John Jones Dominic Reyes happened in Texas. So
Yeah, man. So it's like I'm telling you, it's starting to be like, man, it even goes back as far as to Paulie Malignaggi. Whenever he fought, I think he had fought Juan Baby Bull Diaz, and even he was just like, man, no, Texas, man. Every time I'm gonna come to Texas, man, I get fucked. Like these guys, like they don't know how to fucking judge a fight. Like even in boxing, bro. Like even in boxing, we have that stigma of being a terrible place where like it's just not good judging. So like I'm just it just frustrates me. Like I'm just like as great as this state is, the judging itself is just so shit. Like man, and yeah, like I know a lot of like me saying that probably will probably give me a lot of slack for a lot of Texas, like for Texas and itself, but you know, I just don't even care, because like I start seeing these guys getting screwed over on a day, like on a monthly basis every time Fury comes back to Houston. Like I see it all the time, and I'm just like, this motherfucker, like you're really ruining like somebody's career, bro. Like you're really like they could be making so much more money in the UFC, like because most of these guys, man, like because Fury, because not to say anything about the pay discretion and like the regional scene, but some of these guys who are like making their pro debuts, maybe 200, 300 to show and win, so they're not getting paid a lot, and then like they start moving up, they start selling tickets, of course they're gonna get paid more, but it's still nothing in comparison to like what the UC is giving you, so that's why a lot of these guys look at the 10 and 10, they're like, oh fuck yeah, like it's amazing. I'm getting paid so much more money and shit. Yeah, yeah. Like that's why, like I like the pay structure a little bit because it makes the up and coming guy a little bit more cash than what they're used to, but still, we can bump it up. But the just overall, man, just like these guys are getting the guys that get screwed, they get screwed out of so much more money, and then like it's just kind of just for the opportunity to get paid much more money. Because let's just say, like for me, I've been in a blessed position. My first fight in UFC was 10-10. And on top of that, I get the walk-off knockout. I get an extra 50 G's. Just the possibility that your first fight can get you 70,000. Like that changes people's lives. That changes people's like how they go about things. So like, man, that absolutely changed it for me. Like that put me on my run that I'm on right now. I was still like the week before, like the week before fight week for me for my debut was my last week of work. And let's just say I lost, I wouldn't know what the fuck I would have done. But like I won, and then on top of that, I got the extra 50. So that put me at 70,000. I'm like, oh shit, this legitimately had changed my life. I'm able to do more. And they were like to train, like, cause in Texas, bro, like $40,000, you're good. That's a livable wage. And I made 30,000 more than that. So like that made it so much more better for me. So yeah, like of course, of fucking course. Like, yeah, that I would be pissed off, 100% pissed off, because a lot of these guys, regional guys, get screwed on a day-to-day basis just based off the judging, so yeah. I'm going to rant, man.
I mean, no, I mean it's at least you're talking about it, man. And I feel like the more that we talk about it, hopefully shit will get done. Because like I talked with Cameron after that, like the night he got that horrible decision, and he was fucking heartbroken. He was heartbroken. You
Oh,
know?
I'm telling, like, we had to talk him off a ledge. Like we had to be like, it was like it's to the point where like because I know the skill set. I know what he does in the gym, and I know that like I've seen him like beat up some really good pros that came to the gym. I've seen him do it. And like, man, that guy gives me some of the best rounds. Like he gives me my best rounds. Like him and Rafion give me my best rounds. So it's like so like seeing the talent there, but just seeing the screwed up decisions that he gets, it's heartbreaking. But it's looking at it, I'm just like, man, like what the fuck? Like, so like just knowing the skills that he has, is like I know I was telling, like he was telling me he was done. Like he was like, nah, I'm done. Because fuck, like it's gonna take so much more time for him to even get there and all that stuff. And he was just kind of just like, fuck it. Like I'm not, because I already know what's up with the judges. So he's like, man, these judges aren't ever gonna give it to him. These like they're not, they're not in favor for any of these guys. So I was like, all right. So yeah, he was almost done. I had to talk to him like, bro, I think you should, like, you 100% can keep this. You can keep it going. You can keep it moving. My manager talked to him. Jason House talked to him. Was like, hey, look, you can do it. You can still do it. So, luckily we got him back in. We got him back in there. So like he's super motivated to get it done. Like go out there and knock this guy out, which I think he does. So it'll be fun one.
Awesome. Yeah, man. All right. Well, UFC Austin. So first of all, you aren't on the main card, which is fucking ridiculous. What the hell is wrong with that? I'm making up this narrative that they're keeping you on the prelims so that more people will show up early for the prelims, maybe.
Yeah, but I'm not even that high up on the prelims either. I'm like fight four, and I'm just like, you know what? It's all right. I'm cool with it right now because I'm just like, I get in, get out, because this is gonna be the first event where my son's gonna be going. So I was like, I think that's another thing that like gets me excited for the fight. So get in, get out. I don't have to stay all the way to the main event where it's like around 8 o'clock, 9 o'clock. I get in like at 5 o'clock, get out, go out there and still have a good time because his bedtime is legitimately like 7:38. So like, hey, you know what? It works out for me as well because hey, as soon as I get out, like I get to hang out with him for a little bit before he goes to sleep. So I think that'd be pretty cool.
Awesome, dude. Awesome. Tony Kelley, as if you weren't already a fan favorite, I think everybody on the planet are rooting for you because of his unnecessary comments. And it would have he would have made it all go away if he just would have apologized. Say like, I fucked up.
Yeah.
But he doubled down.
Yeah, no, like I get it. I get it 100%. Like heat of the moment, you're just like, oh yeah, like especially like, cause man, in that corner with Cameron, in that second going into the third round, I'm looking, I was like, he's fucking done. You go out there, you fucking finish him. You go out there, like I do that to a lot of my guys, like you got like close fights and like, hey, you gotta go out there, you gotta fucking finish this guy, you gotta go out there. Like I, of course, I get animated too. But whenever you're going and like your first reaction is to you're like that dirty Brazilian, no, like those dirty Brazilians, like, and like just yeah, like it makes me look at you differently. I'm like, yeah, like that's your first reaction. My first reaction is always looking at the other guy on the other side and be like, nah, that guy's fucking done. Like he's fucking done. You go out there, you gotta go out there and do this shit. Like, nah, but his first reaction was to like insult a whole country and all that stuff, like a nation of people. So I'm like, yeah, no, I look at you a little bit different, my friend. So uh, I don't know. I honestly, like if that's your first go-to, just automatically start going into bigotry. I don't know. I don't know what else to say, man. I don't know what else to say. He said it, and then on top of that, he doubled down, trying to blame it on cancel culture and all that stuff. I'm like, bro, it's like we're not even big enough to be canceled right now. It's like, bro, it's not, in the grand scheme of things, we're nobodies. We're not Johnny Depp. We're not fucking Brad Pitt or any of these guys, who are like fucking Elon Musk, where we can get canceled and shit. Like, no, we're not those guys at all. Like, we just punch each other in the face for a living. What the fuck, man? Like, yeah. But at the end of the day, he says what he says, hey, brings me up a little bit. So I'm not saying I'm cool with it, but at the same time, I'm like, hey, like I already planned on knocking him out. So I got a whole bunch of people want to say that they want to see me knock him out. Well, shit, like I was already planning on it.
Exactly, man. How do you like the matchup with Tony?
Man, I love this matchup because he's a come forward type of guy. Like he's like, again, without any of that overshadowing like what he said or anything like that, his skills are good. Like he's gonna come forward. He's a fighter through and through. Like that guy is gonna keep coming forward. And to me, I love a fighter that's gonna keep coming forward. Like, dude, look at Davy Grant. Davy Grant does not stop coming forward. He doesn't care if like his left arm is like chopped off. He's gonna swing his right arm as much as he can. He's gonna throw his kicks. He's gonna do all he can. So like I feel like it's a fun fight. It's another fun fight. It's another Davy Grant type of fight. And for me, that excites me, because shit, like he's gonna leave a lot of openings, and I feel like I'm gonna knock him out. Like I'm not gonna search for it. It's just gonna happen.
I mean, it's crazy because you're on this Justin Gaethje path where every single one of your fights is a bonus, and there's only a few fighters in UFC history who have done that for their first four fights. You're one of them. So
I'm trying to make it 5, man. I'm trying to make it 5, 100%. If I can make $1 million just off of a fight of the nights, of course, or performance of the nights, of course, I'm 100% willing to do that. Wait, hold on. Let me backtrack. No fight of the nights. No fight of the nights. All performance bonuses. That's exactly what I want, because I don't want to get punched in the face anymore. I'm cool on that. Like that Davy Grant fight was fun, but he hits hard. So like, yeah, no, performance of the nights. I'm gonna go out there and get performance of the nights all the time. This one might be a fight of the night, depending if he could take the shots or not. But if he doesn't, man, it's a performance of the night.
At the end of the day, June 18th, how do you get your hand raised?
Oh man, I'm definitely knocking him out. It's just gonna happen. Like I see his style, and I see all the good stuff he does, but as I watch him, I know there's a lot of holes in his game, and I'm just really like, just in the stand up, like I can see the holes, and I'm just like, I see myself knocking him out. I do see it. Like, and I feel like with all the stuff that I've been doing outside my camp and in camp and everything, like I feel like everything's just starting to pile up and just starting to like, fit. Like everything's starting to like now that I'm like not in the full on tapering process, but I'm like still like grinding. Like everything's feeling right. And I'm just super excited to go back in there, especially knock him out in front of a crowd.
Yeah, absolutely. And finally, man, what do you not looking past Tony Kelley, but what do you want the rest of your year to look like? Last year you fought 3 times. But you started in March, so you're already
Yeah.
halfway through. Are you just looking to get one more in? Like what's kind of like your mindset?
My realistically, I know I can probably fit 2 more in. If I come out clean, I definitely want to fight in September, so I can possibly get a like early December fight. So I think that would be pretty doable. Uh, but 100%, like I do see it being another just one more fight and then probably getting one in February. But like I said, I want to fight. Like I don't even mind fighting in November. Like I don't mind fighting in front of and like on my birthday or anything like that. The only thing that I'm like kind of just sitting back is like missing my son's first birthday. So I'm gonna try to plan right before it. So whenever it is his birthday weekend, I'm there. I'm fucking there. So trying to plan it right before. So 2 fights, but also before December 11th. So I can actually like be there for his birthday. I won't have to miss it. I'll be there.
Awesome. And then I've been throwing out the name Miles Johns. I got a potential rematch. But he just lost. It looks like you're right there next to the
Yeah.
top 15, so that might be next. Also, there's a name that you were supposed to fight a couple times on the regional scene. He's an Ultimate Fighter winner, Ricky Turcios. I mean, is that fight going to happen at some point?
Man, I would absolutely hope so. We've gotten the cold shoulder a couple times, man. Uh we're supposed to fight like at the beginning of our career, in the middle of our career, and then like legitimately before COVID happened. Like legit absolutely when COVID happened. Like we weighed in at everything. We were gonna fight that night. They canceled the event. Like, I don't know if that, like, man, if we can get it done in the UFC, I'm 100% cool with that. I 100% would want that fight just because, like, we've gotten blue balls every single step of the way. And I'm just like, bro, now we can get paid the most money we've ever been paid and, like, just go out there and, like, beat each other up. After I think he seems like a pretty cool guy, but like I think it'd be like cool just to have that fight just for the Houston natives, man, because like all of Houston knows this how many times we've tried to make this fight happen. It just hasn't fucking happened. Like one of the last ones before I fought Miles, because I was scheduled to fight Ricky Turcios for the Fury belt. But what ended up happening was I had a fight. I still had one more fight left on my contract on LFA, and they pulled me from that Fury fight to fight Miles Johns. So that fight with Miles Johns was originally going to be Ricky Tercios, and then they ended up pulling the mats from underneath me and just be like, "Nah, you're fighting Miles." I'm like, all right, okay, cool. So to me, it was like, no brainer. So it was like, yeah, like LFA was on Access TV at the time, so Fury wasn't at the spot that it was today, but 100%, like it was cool, but also at the same time, like we're so close. We've been so close, legitimately so close. Like a couple hours before the event, they shut it down. I'm like,
I mean,
yeah.
Yanez versus Turcios kind of seems like the Khabib Tony of the regional scene.
Oh, 100%. It's Houston's Khabib and Tony. Yeah, it's 100%. But the saving grace of that would be if they came to Houston and they put us on that card. Main card opener right there. And I bet you right now all of Houston would go nuts for that.
Oh, dude. Yeah, it's just one of those fights you look at like, oh, this is gonna be violent.
Oh, it's gonna be absolutely violent, especially whenever you got two fighters who've been like supposed to fight each other for like probably 4 or 5 times. 4 to 5 times. Yeah, of course we're finally gonna step across. We'd finally step across the cage and we both yell at each other. Finally, right?
Absolutely. Adrian, thank you so much for your time, man. I really appreciate it. You want to plug your social media, plug your sponsors, want to thank anybody? The floor is yours.
Oh man, thank you so much. First and foremost, I'd like to thank my coach, Saul Solis. If it wasn't for him, I wouldn't be in the position I am today. Big thanks to my family for supporting me through everything. Also, a big shout out to my management company, Iridium Sports Agency, Jason House, everybody. It's too much to name, man. They got a whole team. They got a whole team making sure us fighters are good. And then, man, also thank you for the platform. This is amazing. Thank you for having me on. Also a big shout out to Duke's Up. You know, I got my own soap out there. Yeah. Get yourself the heavy hitter soap. Keep yourself clean, guys. Man, shit. Knock out the smell. All right. But yeah. Yeah, that honestly, that's close to about it, man. Thank you so much for having me on. This has been awesome. You know, with the guy that has a phenomenal Twitter game.
Appreciate it, Darren.